To prove a woman's chastity, they sprinkled lampblack all over a white cloth, then had the woman squat over it. The housekeeper took a chicken feather and tickled the bride's nose, all to make her sneeze. If the lampblack remained undisturbed, it meant the woman was still pure. The reason the old lady insisted on this test stemmed from an accident during the wedding procession. Kuei, a day laborer, had stood in for the eldest young master to fetch the bride. The bride, dressed in red with a red veil over her head, was helped out by the housekeeper. In this poor, remote mountain valley, there were no roads fit for a wedding sedan chair. Hiring camel men became the only respectable way to fetch the bride. During a break halfway, some young men asked Kuei if the bride was beautiful, but even though Kuei was the closest to her, he'd never seen her face. There was a local folk belief: whoever the bride laid eyes on first would be blessed with great wealth and fortune. Hearing this, the bride didn't shy away. Instead, she lifted her own veil. Her beautiful, flushed face left Kuei utterly captivated. Just then, a cloud of dust billowed in the distance, and a group of riders quickly approached. The housekeeper, who knew more of the world, recognized them as bandits from White Wind Fort. She hastily took off her gold ring and begged for mercy. The bride, curious, lifted her veil again, a move that spelled trouble. White Wind Fort was just short of a chief's wife. The bandits paid no heed to the housekeeper's protests, and strode straight toward the bride. Sensing danger, Kuei hoisted the bride onto his back and ran. He moved as fast as the wind. The bandits chased him for ages but couldn't catch up. The woman was astonished by his stamina, but no man can outrun a horse forever. Even the bandits were shocked by how fast Kuei could run.
别杀人，我跟你们走就是了。
The woman said suddenly. Kuei never expected her to volunteer to leave with the bandits. To save him, he tried to chase after her, only to be knocked down by a blade. The woman reached out to help him, but the bandits dragged her away by force. Meanwhile, the housekeeper returned home and told the Li family everything about the bride being kidnapped. The furious groom stormed into the inner room. He planned to take the family's shotgun and rescue his bride, but he slipped off a bench. A loud explosion rang out, and the groom was blown to bits. The old lady, crushed by this successive blow, fainted dead away. When Kuei woke up, he was consumed with guilt. Ignoring his family's pleas to stay, he insisted on going to the bandit den to rescue the bride, even offering his own life as ransom. The bandit chief was moved by his sincerity. He let them go of his own accord, and even told Kuei to come work for him later. Kuei thanked him, then carried the bride on his back all the way back to the Li family. They still hadn't heard the news of the groom's death. Worried that the bride, Chiu, had lost her purity in the bandit den, the mother-in-law told the housekeeper to conduct the chastity test. The result proved Chiu was still a virgin, so the old lady had a wooden statue carved in her son's likeness, and made Chiu kowtow and pay respects with a piece of wood. After bowing to the elders, all the red curtains and red lanterns were replaced with an eerie white. Chiu was tied into a sedan chair to attend her new husband's funeral. For his merit in rescuing the young mistress, Kuei was hired as a permanent laborer by the Li family. His yearly wage was 2 sacks of wheat, a desirable job many people envied. Kuei didn't care about the 2 sacks of wheat. Just catching a glimpse of Chiu was enough to satisfy him. Chiu stayed by her husband's wooden statue all day long. She'd carry it out to sunbathe, and even sleep under the same quilt with it at night. Staring at the cold wood, she wondered when this miserable life would end. One day, Kuei went to fetch water as usual. On his way back, he happened to see Chiu fetching water to do laundry. He immediately stepped forward to help, and asked if she was doing well here. Chiu felt her life in this family was empty and joyless. Kuei suddenly froze, distracted by the slight gap in Chiu's collar, which stirred his thoughts. Chiu seemed to realize it too. Learning that Kuei only had one set of clothes, she found one of her late husband's garments and gave it to him. Kuei was overjoyed. It was the first time a woman had shown him such care. But when the old lady found out, she was furious. She warned Chiu not to get too close to other men. This was the first time Chiu lost her temper. She refused to live with a piece of wood. The old lady flew into a rage and even slapped her. Chiu tried to go back to her parents' home, but her father personally sent her back. She was a married woman now. There was no place for her at her childhood home anymore. Kuei couldn't stop worrying about Chiu. In the dead of night, he took the initiative to knock on her door. He'd planned to offer a few words of comfort and leave, but the young mistress called him back. All her pent-up grievances seemed to find an outlet. Her tearful pleas, as delicate as pear blossoms in rain, set Kuei's heart ablaze. But after that night, feelings of guilt made Kuei restless. From then on, he avoided Chiu wherever he went. The old lady tried to reason with her daughter-in-law, saying she herself had been a widow for 20 years. Men leave their names behind, geese leave their cries. You have to think about your reputation after death, she said. But Chiu wouldn't listen. This was her whole life. How could she spend it in such cold emptiness? The old lady locked Chiu up. Kuei felt it was all his fault. As he tried to leave the village alone, he ran into Chiu.
你不管我了，是你把我背来的，你得把我再背走，走哪我都跟着你。
Finally, Kuei turned around and held his beloved tightly in his arms, but just then, the old lady arrived with a crowd. The two were caught red-handed. Kuei was beaten severely and driven out of the village. Shio had her Achilles tendons cut and was locked away. Kuei left the village and went to White Wind Fort. A year passed in the blink of an eye. One day, a group of horse bandits suddenly appeared at the Li family. Dozens of strong men advanced menacingly, but the old lady remained surprisingly calm. The door was pushed open. Kuei was now the chief of White Wind Fort. He'd come to take his beloved away. Seeing Shio tied to the ground like a dog, endless rage filled Kuei's heart. He glared fiercely at the old lady, then took off his belt and threw it at her feet. Drums began to beat. Kuei tied red cloth around his ankles and slung a carrying pole over his back. Shio put on a bright red wedding dress once more. As the bench under the old lady's feet toppled over, Kuei lifted Shio onto his back and carried her out. From now on, they would be together forever.